human self presents to me many challenges that burden me. My heart center shines and calls to me. This is who I choose to be. Sometimes less.
Welcome to the Vibrational Alchemy Podcast. This is Penny Fisher, and we are so glad you are joining us for this week's episode. Hello, my beautiful souls. How are you today? I am so happy to be here with you as always, and super excited that we get to be together at this time of the fall equinox. If you are listening to this podcast on the day it drops, it's dropping on September 21st, which is the day before the equinox. The energies actually reach their peak on, I think it's a Sunday. Yeah, today's Saturday. On Sunday, the 22nd of September. This is 2024, in case you're catching this further down the road, and 8:44 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern Standard Time is when we hit those beautiful fall equinox energies. And as I was thinking that I really wanted to offer a recording for you or a podcast for you, some thinking, not sure what, some very, very cool information came across my path, which opened up a conversation with a beautiful archangel, actually. And so this is the information that I'd like to share with you today. We're going to wind around a little bit, and then we're going to end up connecting with a divine feminine archangel. It's Archangel Faith. And for those of you who know Archangel Michael, he's the bridge here. This is his divine feminine complement. And I want to be clear about something here with angels and archangels. They do not have gendered identities, right? They're neither masculine nor feminine, but they do hold masculine and feminine energies within them, just like we do, actually. And it was shown to me one time that it's like two sides of a coin. Right? One side is, in this case, the energies of Archangel Michael. The other side of the coin holds the energies of Archangel Faith, but it's still one coin. And it's still a coin. So this is still this angelic, energetic, vibrational resonance, and it holds both of these energies. And we have forever been acculturated to really focus on the divine masculine aspect. But the divine feminine archangels have been knocking at the door for a while now. There's a few beautiful books out there. And I had an opportunity to teach a 10-part series, actually, last year on the divine feminine archangels. So maybe we'll offer that virtually in the new year as we come into the new year. We'll see what the girls want, right? Okay, so we're going to make our way to how Faith presented herself and wanted to share things with you. But before we do that, I would like to talk a little bit about the equinox. So there are 2 days every year where the length of the day and the length of the night come into perfect balance. And that's the spring equinox and the fall equinox. So the energies of these times of year are all about finding balance within ourselves, right? That nature finds balance, and it's a reflection of what we can be working on and toward within ourselves. Remembering always that we are having a human experience and allowing that experience and having compassion for it. We notice and note, right, without judgment. Well, hopefully without judgment, the places where our vibration is less than what we might like it to be. And we use our practices to find balance between fear and love, between judgment and compassion, between this idea of resting and gathering, which is the divine feminine energy, and being in motion and being in action, which is the divine masculine energy. Doing that work, my darlings, of coming into balance requires a tremendous amount of trust and faith. And so now you have an idea about where we're heading and what Archangel Faith wants to talk to us about. Before we get there, though, let's continue to talk a little bit about balance and about how we start to come into this state of balance, right? It sounds lovely. And we have been largely taught to, what is it I want to say? Create the illusion of balance by squishing down and tamping down and ignoring all the unpleasant things, right? We don't want to feel anger. Those of you who have listened to several of these podcasts might have heard the story about when I still laugh, sorry. When I first started on my spiritual journey, and my first teacher, Rosa, I was at my very first session. I mean, folks, I didn't know what a chakra was. I had no idea. I just knew I needed help, right? And we're getting ready for the session, and she very kindly and gently says to me, "So, how do you feel about anger?" And I thought about it, and I said to her, I just don't find anger a very useful emotion, so I really don't get angry. Oh my gosh, I could not have been more wrong. I was like the Hulk. I was always angry. But I had been so trained to be afraid of my anger that I would push it down and ignore it, right? And then it would come out in these outbursts toward other people, especially my family. So, yeah, that's been a lot of work to recognize that. So, how do we come into balance? How do we acknowledge all these heavy emotions, right? I share that with you to let you know it's okay. It's okay to have those emotions. It's part of being human. And then we choose to move past them, right? And that's how we come into balance. We can look to the natural world for some models about coming into balance, right? There's only perfect balance between day and night twice a year. In between those times are periods of the autumn and the winter, which are times of turning inward, resting, reflecting. They very much hold divine feminine energy. And then coming out of the spring equinox into, again, the spring, the time of growth, the time of planting and being outside. And I'm speaking through the lens of the Northern Hemisphere for my beautiful soul family that's down under and listening. You just flip seasons here, right? We're in motion in the spring and the summer. We're taking action. We're doing. That holds the divine masculine energy. So at this time of the fall equinox, we can look to nature to understand how we can now balance all of the motion and the doing that we've just experienced in the spring and summer months with rest and balance by turning inward, by being still. If you're in a place where it gets cold or colder, I grew up in the Northeast of the United States. And I love the winter. I love a fire going, a cup of tea, a lot of blankets, not even a good book, but just being able to look out the window and just rest. But here's the thing. All of that turning inward, my sweeties, all of that stillness leaves us exposed. We've got nowhere to go to hide from all of those aspects of ourself that we would rather ignore, right? When we are in the season of doing and moving and being outside, and even in the wintertime when we choose to not sit still, we choose to stay in motion, we take on projects, we clean our houses, and those things are, being in motion is not intrinsically bad unless we're using it as a reason not to sit and be with all of the things that are bubbling up for us on the inside, right? If I'm moving, I don't have to think about my grief. I don't have to think about my frustration. I don't have to think about my anger or my uncertainty, right? I can just ignore it because I'm moving. I'm too busy. I don't have time. The energies of the fall equinox open the door to the sacred heart space, which is kind of like my favorite couch by the fire with the blankets and the pillows. And it, those energies invite us in and they let us rest. And I think we have to acknowledge that there is, or could be, discomfort that's going to come up here. All right. So when I got that far, and then I'm thinking to myself, all right, so how do we navigate discomfort? I can tell people to just sit with it, but I don't know, that just didn't feel fair. It didn't feel fair to you all. So I started to do some more looking into the fall equinox, the historical significance of the fall equinox. And I discovered the absolute coolest thing. And that's how I ended up in the space of the angels. Check this out. Who knew? There is a feast called the Feast of Michaelmas. And this is the feast that celebrates Saint Michael or Archangel Michael, however you interact with those energies. The feast is, I believe, September 29th every year, and it celebrates the end of the harvest. There was some fruit, I can't remember. I apologize to those of you who do celebrate, but there's a fruit that is finished being harvested, and in the United Kingdom, there are pies that are made, and it really is a celebration of the harvest and of this retreat now into the home, to the hearth, to rest and turn inward, right? And if we think about it, it really is the presence of Archangel Michael is really this tremendous gift. Because what happens after the equinox, fall equinox, is, at least in the northern hemisphere, the days start to get shorter. And so it's darker. And it stays darker longer. And this is why I think we crave the firelight. We crave the candlelight. We decorate our homes at the holidays. Those of you who celebrate in the Christian traditions, we put up lights. Diwali, we set the festival of lights. Hanukkah, we celebrate the light that burned, right? For 8 nights, 8 days. We crave light. And along comes this beautiful being, this archangel, who holds, if you've ever seen pictures of Archangel Michael or you've worked with this beautiful being, who holds this flaming sword. And it's not a flaming sword that we need to be afraid of. It's the flaming sword of love. And he offers it to us. And that light that comes from his sword, that comes from his heart, will shine into the darkness that we've retreated into in order to look at the difficult parts of ourselves that maybe we'd really rather not look into. And that light, my sweeties, is a beacon. It's a reminder. It's like the bat signal. It's the bat signal reminding us to reconnect with our inner light. It reminds us to connect with our potential, with our reality, that we are that. We are love. We are light. We are divine perfection and beauty, and all of our human imperfection cannot change that. It just shows us the places where we can send the wounded parts of ourselves. So much more love. So we use this light from Archangel Michael and we lean on it. We lean on it to help us get through these difficult winter months. And sometimes the going can get tough, right? And this is the place where we really need to notice those places where we're holding judgment against ourselves, where we're holding on to anger, where we have refused to forgive, where we are holding on to grief, and we need to find ways to release that so that there's more room for the light and the love. I came across in my looking a beautiful blog post called Seasonal Soul, and the author's name is Erin Bruce. And I just want to share this part of her blog post about the fall equinox. It's so exquisite. Listen to what she says. A significant part of the autumn equinox is allowing yourself to let go in order for the trees and the plants to continue to grow and evolve. This is the season when they must let go. For the trees, this means dropping old leaves, so next spring they can sprout new ones, new life and new growth. We must also do this work in our lives in order to continue to expand and grow. Autumn is the season for looking inward and doing the work of releasing old stories, false limiting beliefs you've held, things that no longer serve you, things that are hindering your personal growth and evolution. This is the season when we take a hard look at these things so we can finally whack them down and cut them out of our lives. In the coming season, you have the opportunity to finally let go of old patterns, destructive habits, limiting beliefs that are holding you back. And just like the autumn leaves, you're preparing to release those things that no longer serve you. This is the season for chopping down old ways of being so they can be composted and new growth can take its place next spring. Beautifully said. It's just amazing. And it makes sense, right? Oof. But for any of you who have been through the dark times, the dark night of the soul, you know that it can be scary. It can be incredibly unnerving. And this is the place where we need to have faith. And this is where Archangel Faith came through and said, I really want to be part of this. I really want to share a message about how to navigate the darkness, because what she wants to do is she wants to redefine faith for us. She wants you to know that as you do the deep inner work that Erin Bruce described, this work of releasing, of whacking down, of composting what you don't need, that there can be a period where we feel very off balance because we're recalibrating. We're remembering, that's a better way of putting it. We're remembering our way back to who we really are. And we're releasing lifetimes of conditioning. And this can really make us feel off balance. In many, many religious frameworks, faith is the willingness to believe in something that you can't see. But faith, Archangel Faith, wants us to evolve our understanding of faith. And I'm going to read because this is what she said to me. Evolve our understanding of faith into a deep and intrinsic trust in your own inner knowing and your soul's guidance. She is reminding you that everything that you need is inside you. So going inside, going within, coming into stillness, while yes, it might mean that some of those demons are going to come up, it also means that if we sit and we call on the light and we ignite that light within us, that we don't have to be afraid because we can trust, we can have faith in the reality of who we are. We are beautiful beings of love and light. And while I was saying that to you, I had this beautiful image of Archangel Michael's sword. And it was almost like his sword was a lit candle, and he was using that to light the candle within you, within us, right? To ignite that flame within us. And Archangel Faith wants us to know that we don't have to worry anymore. That if we know that we have her to support us in remembering that it's about having faith in ourselves, trusting in who we are, and that this human experience is about the journey back to that, right? She says that her superpower is to give us faith in the memories of our true identities as beings of love and light. As we honor this new reality, we are able to radiate unconditional love and light and fulfill our divine purpose in ways that are for our highest good and indeed the highest good of all who are touched by our lives. That is the gift she is offering here, to have faith in you. So I invite you now, my darlings, to connect with your breath. And as always, if you are driving, walking, caring for someone, doing anything that requires your undivided attention, I would ask that you either pause this recording or just let it flow over you and come back to it later, right? Stay safe if you need to be focused. But bring your attention to the breath flowing in and out of your nose. Allow yourself to feel the breath flowing in slowly and gently, keeping your neck and shoulders relaxed as you let the breath flow in and fill your entire torso, all the way down as far as you can go. When you feel full, pause, reverse the flow of air, allowing it to exhale out through the nose, allowing it to take as long for the exhale as it did for the inhale. And let the next few breaths take you down into your sacred heart space, that beautiful chamber where you can always go for rest, that holds the vibration of unconditional love of the cosmic heart. Just drop in and rest here for a minute. And in your mind's eye, See, sense, feel, or imagine a beautiful portal in your sacred heart chamber that opens now. And invite in the flow of diamond light of the cosmic heart, allowing it to fill your sacred heart chamber. And just rest here, feeling it infuse you and light you up. As you rest and breathe, you start to notice a pulsing of the blue aspects of this diamond light. This blue light begins to pulse and coalesce. And you see, sense, feel, or just imagine or pretend that there is a beautiful being of blue light in front of you. It may be a color, it may be an image, it may be a person. It may simply be a feeling. You feel a smile coming to your face as you connect with the unbelievable purity of love that flows from Archangel Faith to you now. Feel her love flowing into you. And she has a message for each of you in this moment. She says that the power of the blue ray enters into you now to transform, to renew, and to activate aspects of your DNA that have long lain dormant, to assist you in expanding and in coming into alignment with the energy of the blue light of Source. This transformation will allow you to experience my gift of faith, faith in you, faith in your connection with the Creator in whatever way you experience that energy. Faith in the purity of your loving heart that is so needed by the world at this time. Call on me at any time when you feel adrift, afloat, frightened, or unsure, and I will be with you. Come often to the space of your sacred heart chamber so that we can commune. For it is my great joy to be in connection with you and to receive the loving vibration of your heart. Know how much you are loved and how deeply grateful we are for your service at this time. I am Archangel Faith, and it is so. And so you are invited, my darlings, to stay in this heart space, or at least to visit here every day if you can, even just for a few moments, to connect with her beautiful energy, that blue light. And as you do this, you will feel yourself begin to expand. You will feel a sense of ease and softness and flow. You will begin to trust that inner guidance. You will begin to release your fear of the shadow sides of yourself, which are only the other sides of the coin of love that is you. And you will deepen your connection to source energy, knowing that you are that perfect, beautiful, pure love, pure light. And you are welcome at any time that you feel ready to come back into the here and now, or to stay in your beautiful heart chamber and continue to connect with Archangel Faith. Know, my darlings, how deeply grateful I am to each of you for being with me for this episode. I am Penny Starhart. This has been the Vibrational Alchemy Podcast. And until we are together again, remember always that you are loved and you are love.
This is who I choose to be. This is who I choose to